Shiny yay, everybody! Me. I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm sorry. A good sunny day, everybody. It's me, your friendly intergalactic sun prince of the sun, Enyo Solaris to Moshimasu. You can also call me Solaris or Soul. I had a breakdown because I didn't get a Switch 2 pre-order. So I've been a little discombobulated. But what's up? I'm Solaris. You can call me Soul. You can call me Enyo-sama if that is if you want to be proper about it. Today, we're not talking about how much I love Dom. My friend. That doesn't make it any better, whatever. Whatever. We're talking about Akuyaku Reijou Tensei Ojisan discussion. We're talking about the discussion as it's happening. I think it's going pretty well so far. I don't know. How about you? Especially like this seal in the corner that's looking at us like we did something. But yes, we have not. It's awkward to do a discussion with no one in the chat, but I am aware that is just a possibility that happens. So anyone, VOD viewers, I love you, and I miss you, and what's the sound a race car makes? Anyway. I'm glad. So anyway, I was gonna ask anyone. I've been going back and forth about background music, and I've decided no. We're gonna decide no. What did I end up titling this stream? A fun, creative isekai. I guess that's better than elegant. I have written a fun, elegant isekai, and I'm like, that'll make sense if you've seen the show, because they say the word eleganto a lot. Anyway, we're going to talk about this show. We are currently in the spoiler-free intro. So if you have not seen this show, well, let me tell you. I mean, as soon as I figure out, you know, I don't have to figure out anything. I've done it. Me in the past has done it for me, so I just copy and paste it like that. I know this is not centered. It's okay. Okay. Also, we went for a pink background because it's very elegant and it's spring. So you know what? And I feel like I stand out really. I like pink backgrounds. It's because it's contrasts really well with my dark clothes. You know, it looks, you know, visually appealing, and pink is a cool color. I mean, it's representative of, anyway. So anyway, earlier when I said that, oh, maybe this won't go on for 4 hours, because people aren't here, I lied. It's not the viewer's fault. It's not the chatter's fault that this goes on that these discussions often go on for a while. It's all me. I can make this a little bigger. This is where I keep my screenshots, and also the seal in the corner that is going to be judging us the entire stream. Don't worry about it. If you're viewing this as a podcast, visuals are not super required, but I will be pulling up screenshots of the show as they become relevant. But so it is not required. But maybe if you have this on a second monitor, like glance over every now and again. So anyway, Tensei Reijou Ojisan Akuyaku discussion. What are we talking about? We will not discuss any English title. First of all, can I say, English title is terrible. I forget what it is. I should probably have that pulled up. But it's from Bureaucrat to Villainess, Dad's been reincarnated. Which is indeed a translation of what it's describes what happens in the show. Although I was gonna say, before watching the show, I was like, I don't have my nerd glasses anymore. I threw them out, but if I had them, I put them on. I should make that a toggle. Technically, Ojisan does not refer to dad exclusively. It just refers to, like, an older gentleman. And it's also not to be confused with Oji-san, which means grandfather. Because don't ask me why Oji-san and Oji-san both... Actually, Oji-san means... What is this? Oh, okay. It is difficult to click on anything with the layout that I have. I will not rename my layers. You can't make me. I refuse. Okay, that at least makes things a little easier. If I reorder my layers. So we got screenshot, image 5, image 2, image 3, image 8. I actually, on the anime discussion, I have renamed layers a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, we're talking about Tensei. So okay, the translation. There's no great way to translate Oji-san, but I guess dad, because it's a dad that gets reincarnated. And also, do people know what, like, a villainess is? Because a villainess is kind of like a anime trope that is not super popular. It's been getting a little popular recently. There's been a couple of villainous anime, light novel, manga, video games, series in the otaku sphere that have been happening. Like, I just read, I'm in love with the villainess. Wata Oshi. I read the first 2 light novels of that, and I'm like, oh, this shit's good. And then I was like, there's an anime, but the anime only covers like the first light novel and a little bit of the second. But I'm like, but it's not a complete story. We're not talking about that anime. If that anime ever gets a second season, I'll watch it. Okay, but I'm satisfied. Anyway, Villainous, as we will get into, is kind of like the trope in anime where you have like a spoiled rich girl who is like a villain, villainess. Okay, listen, I'm sure you can assume that villainess means villain girl. But specifically, like, back in a lot of like old shoujo anime, it was like the snooty rich girl that would get in the way of the main character's romantic advances. So that is what the title is referring to. I have a lot of notes, but in my infinite wisdom, I did not put down the description. So you know what? Let's just go to Wikipedia, and I'll read you the description of what it's about. Meow meow. A bureaucrat named Kenzaburo Tondabayashi is killed by a passing truck after saving a boy, and is reborn in the otome game Magical Academy Love and Beasts as the villainous Grace Avergine? I'm not 100% sure. I watched the show subtitled. So yeah, it is like an isekai where, oh my gosh, are you hit by the isekai truck? Excuse me? We were trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Well, I hope whoever killed this man with their truck had a warranty. Hi, Wolfie. You let me rant. Don't worry. I know you're like, hey, it's been 25 minutes of the stream. At least 10 of that has been actual discussion. What did I miss? You didn't miss anything. I ranted about the translation for the title, about how Oji-san doesn't really translate to dad. Sick. So yeah, Bureaucrat, we're in the spoiler-free intro. Bureaucrat named Kenzaburo. Kenzaburo, again, if it's not like Bleach or 100 Girlfriends, I don't remember the name. And the only reason I know Bleach names is because I've seen Bleach 100 million times. And the only reason I know 100 Girlfriends names is because every single one of those names is a pun. So, whatever. Anyway. So, Kenzaburo is like a dad. He's like a dad. I'm not sure how much of this is spoiler or not, but we're in a thing. So yeah, he's a dad. He's got a wife and kid. And he's heading home from work. Can I use the screenshot tool to show off some things? Man, it's in the opening. Does that count? No, it's not. As per usual, I did not get actual good subtitles. But here we go. Okay, so guy on the right, bald guy on the right, gets hit by a truck, and he is reborn in the game, in an otome game. And for an otome game is a game, it's like one of those like visual novel dating simulators where you get a harem of big anime girl boobies, but instead of anime girls is cute anime boys, and you otome I think just means like young lady. So an otome game means a game where you play as a young lady courting the gentleman. OPs in themselves are spoilers, so sure. Listen, I will do my best of the spoiler-free intro. Because there is one aspect to this show that I think is worth knowing going into it, being where it's like, oh, you think it's just like a regular ass isekai? Well, okay, I don't know. It's not, even from the get-go, it's not like a regular ass isekai. Because isekai, if you don't know, it's a type of anime. Also, if you don't know what anime is, it's a type of animation. Also, if you don't know what animation, so, you know, isekai is known for, you know, depressed teenager gets sent to a different world and is a badass, you know, that kind of thing. So already we're subverting the expectations by this dude is effing. I have the list of characters. It doesn't list their ages. It lists their names, but not their ages. 52. Okay, 52. We got this 52-year-old like dad guy. Isekaiing, so that's already interesting. And he goes to not a like a Dungeons and Dragons, you know, fantasy world. No, he goes to a game about dating cute boys called Magical Academy Love and Beasts. I don't know if it's supposed to be Love and Beast or Love and Beasts. Because Japan famously does not have plurals, except when they do. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it too hard. Very interesting. So when do we get to the beach episode? Unironically, I could talk about that in a minute. There's no beach unfortunately, there is no beach episode. Although I really feel like they could have thrown in a beach episode now that I think about it. But we'll get to that later. We're just talking about the premise. There is no beach episode. But there should have been. Anyway. But yeah, so he's in an otome game and reincarnated as Grace Avurgandi? Arvurging? I watched this in Japanese. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. But great. Kenzaburo gets reincarnated as Grace. And it's a little like, okay, so it's this show is confusing. This is how this lasts 10 hours. Maybe if I don't spend 3 months in between each anime discussion, maybe I won't be as crap about it, but maybe that's the appeal. Have you ever thought about that? Anyway, so basically what happens is this old Japanese man is now a young, snooty, rich girl, but because the old Japanese man is very kind and wholesome, you know, he's a 52-year-old dad with a wife and a kid, so I don't think about much, so no. Okay, fair enough. Me too. What are we talking about? Don't ask about the seal that is judging us as we stream. Don't worry about it. It takes too long to don't worry about it. This wasn't a seinen manga. It's like older demographic. I guess that makes sense. Anime. Okay, so so immediately there was like a clash of like, you know, he's a polite old man, but he's trying to be like a evil villainess. And this is mostly, okay, this is mostly a comedy anime about, you know, old man trying to be prim proper snooty young lady that's supposed to be like the villain of a cute boys dating simulator, but he's just too nice and wholesome and everybody loves them. So there we go. We're officially 32 minutes in, and I have told you the plot synopsis and the genre. Because it is a comedy first and foremost. It does have some plot, but it is mostly a comedy. Beep, 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 beep. Now we actually get to my notes. I would say yes. Okay, here we go. I don't know why I put the OP in the ending first. I should put that down later. What me reorganizing my notes as I'm doing it? That's crazy. Anyway, I will say they don't take the main setup for granted. Because I know a lot of other shows where it's like, oh, you're reborn, but you're actually this thing. Oh my gosh! It's like not relevant at all. Like, as much as I like the slime isekai, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, like by like episode like 3 or 4, like actually maybe not. I think I want to say after like the first arc, they get powers that just lets them be a human, and them being a slime is not much of a factor of the show. It's still a good show. It's just like it's like a political, let's build up a society kind of show, not a look at me, I'm a slime, whoop-de-doop-a-doo. But yeah, I will say they do not take the main setup for granted, because it would be super easy to just ignore the main character's past life and just make a fantasy show about an awkward girl, whatever. Just got a self-insert. It's not even like a self-insert. I mean, I guess it is an older demographic, so I'm sure there's some 52-year-olds reading this manga, watching this anime. And also a lot of isekai and gender bender stories in particular do that. By the way, quick question. Is gender bender offensive? Because it seems like one of those like really old anime terms that would be offensive nowadays, but I can't really think of a gender change magic thing, a show that plays with the concept of gender. I just like it because it alliterates well, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen a lot of mixed things on that. If you think gender bender is offensive, let me know, and let me know an alternative that I can use for general anime that play with gender, because people say like gender change, but sometimes like that's not 100% clear, because there's a lot of like weird gray areas here, because a lot of the time like listen, pronouns in this discussion are going to be very difficult, by the way. Because like the main setup is that this old guy from modern times gets reincarnated as Grace in the middle of her life with memories from both lives. So they have the memories of both the old man Kenzaburo and Grace's life up until that point, and they also kind of both have each personalities, or kind of like they're kind of both in there, I guess. Like, I don't know, it hurts my head. So it's not just like it's don't. So anyway, if long story short, if you I'm gonna say gender bender, but if you want me to not say that, then let me know. or just clip it out of context of me saying it on Twitter, and then cancel me, and then that'll also get the message across. Either way. Def would not waste my premise if I got sucked into an anime named That Time I Got Reborn as a Big Bootylicious Anime Babe. I feel like that's a like a type of genre that I like. There's a couple of other shows of that, but I can't think of isekai that do that. There was what was that? I read the first volume of it. She professed herself the pupil of the wise man. There's another gender bender light series that kind of doesn't use its premise at all. It's just about a cute anime girl going on in fantasy adventures and doesn't kind of use its premise that much, but whatever. Also not big booby. One of those things that objectively suck, but there's not a very good alternative. And maybe there is, but I'm too small-minded. Gender bend is fine, I think, in this context. Yeah, because it sounds somewhat of, you know, I'll ask an expert later. And no, not before. Anyway, point I'm trying to make is yes, who the main character was in the past and how they are interacting now and how this change kind of brings up conflict is relevant and is a core part of the comedy. Poke, I was gonna say Dom. Dom's usually the one that tells me if something is offensive or not. But like, I don't know. I'm a reasonable person. Just like, if it's offensive, let me know, and if it's not, then whatever. Then we're all cool. But yeah, similar to Slime Isekai, like, you know, the main character of Slime Isekai was like worked in like construction or something, and so like was like a manager at somewhere, so that they had experience of like leading people together to build buildings, and they use that. So like, yeah, the fact that, you know, he's an old businessman is relevant throughout the series. We're still in the spoiler-free intro. We're getting the spoiler-free intro, friends. A lot to chew on. For example, I love the accidental friendship between Anna and Grace, where Anna is like the pink-haired protagonist of said game that this is supposed to be a part of. And Grace is supposed to be like the villain, but because Kenza, I will call him, right? Is that Kenza? Yeah, we'll just call him Kenza, buddy. We're buddies. We're buddies at this point, right? I watched her whole show. We're buddies. Kenza Boro-san immediately sees her and is like, she reminds me of my daughter. I'm gonna protect and nurture that girl. So they accidentally end up kind of befriending Anna. And so there's like an accident. So I like their like accidental friendship of Grace slash Kenza trying to be mean to her but accidentally being nice. You get some fun things. You have fun things like that. Meow, meow, meow. And yeah, I already said about the pronouns, about how Grace and Kenza are kind of the same person, but kind of not really. Like, it's mostly Kenza, but it's a little bit of Grace too. I don't. So pronouns are going to be very awkward. But I will refer to the both of them as MC, they, them, and then each one of them specifically. If they specifically do something, then I will refer to them by that name. Meow, meow, meow. But yeah, I like it. It's a fun series that doesn't take itself too literally. Like, I picked this up because I'm like, the reason I like gender bending anime is because I like things that play around with gender and talk about gender, because that's an interesting topic to me, as I'm sure you are aware. But it actually doesn't really do a whole lot with gender. Like, they kind of don't bring it up at all. Like, they don't bring up that, like, he's a she now. But they really, like, lean into the fact that, like, oh, it's the social standing that is different, you know? It's like, oh, I'm gonna bow, and oh no, I shouldn't bow. I should prance like a young, dignified lady. For them as the MC, yeah. they them. Main character son, pronouns they them. Which is literal because there was two of them inside of one. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I do. So I wasn't like disappointed because I'm very much a a proprietor. I don't know what that word is. An advocate of in judging something based on how it is, not what I want it to be. So I thought it was gonna be a lot more about gender, but it wasn't. But I was fine with that. I'm cool with what it is. I like that they kind of leaned into it, 2-in-1 MC special. So yeah, I do like that. I do not consider it a fault of the show. I do like they still used the isekai a lot more than actual like gender bender stuff. Like they bring that up constantly of like the disassociation of the dissonance between, you know, humble old Japanese man and snooty rich young girl. And it creates a lot of fun comedy things. The only fundamental problem that I have with the series is that it kind of over-explains itself on some things. Like, they have a really in-depth magic system, and I'm not sure why. Like, they yap a lot about how the magic system works, and it's primarily a comedy. So like outside of like 1 or 2 scenes, the magic is not super relevant. So like little things like that, and they also explain like, hey, and it's a video game, and things are supposed to be like this, but it's actually like this. So like, I feel like in that way they could kind of like have the premise on the back burner a little bit, and sometimes they do, but it's really inconsistent because sometimes they like to just let the show play out, and then sometimes they're like, oh, in this part of the game it's supposed to be like this, but because this happened, and that stuff can be interesting, but I just feel like it gets a little overly explainy. Although now that I think about it, this is a complaint I've had with a few anime, especially recently. Maybe I'm just a schnooty, because I had that same issue with Oshinoko, where I was like, Oshinoko just turned into a Wikipedia article sometimes. It's not, I don't think it's as bad as that, but I don't know. Maybe I am just snooty. Because I also have to consider the fact of, like, somebody watching this anime not having seen the fudging decades of anime, knowing like almost all of anime history. So from that perspective, I guess it's better to over-explain than under-explain. But I still think it does a little bit too much over-explaining. Especially for a comedy. You would think a comedy is like quick, snappy, like get to the point. But I don't know. And also I feel like it kind of falls off a little bit in the second half. Like, it's one of those shows that like it starts with like a really strong introductory arc, and then about like halfway through they kind of just meander until they eventually reach some sort of conclusion. Is that a spoiler? I think I'm being vague enough for it to not be a spoiler. But yeah, I would still say it's overall a good show. I'm looking for I'm looking for the if I have any screenshots of the opening. Do I not have any screenshots of the opening? Where the fudge I got the screenshots of the opening? Because I just wanted to say that the opening is an absolute banger. Oh, here it is. Because it starts with like the text in black and white world, and then he goes to the isekai world, and everything becomes all bright and colorful, and everything's happy. And then they have like this really cool, it's not quite like a 3D panning shot, it's like kind of, but it goes down this hallway, and you see all these characters, and it opens the door, and you see more, like it introduces you to all the characters through like this panning shot, and it's really cool. And they also have like 15 like little frames at the end, ending with this scene of all the main characters and all the cute boys. The main girl, the main character who's supposed to be the main character canonically in the game, and then all the boys. Yes, the electric chair with you for the crime of spoiler. Oh, to the electric chair with you. I thought you were talking about my squeaky chair. Like this. I don't know. I don't even know if you can hear that. I don't even know if you can hear that. But yeah, see, Grace accidentally enters dad mode. So when she first meets Anna, she's like, "How you must have wonderful parents who care about you very deeply." And that's not something a villainess is supposed to say. But yeah, we will get our Bleach discussion here, first and foremost, by saying that, Tite Kubo, the author of Bleach, has said, mentioned this opening in particular as being a good opening that they have seen recently. Again, I would give you a source on that one, but nobody in the effing Bleach community archives anything. So, never mind. The squeaks are mildly amusing. As long as it's not the fidget cube. Fidget cube drives me insane. That plagued the Bleach Rebirth of Souls discussion and also the Dawn to Dawn discussion with just the entire time. By the way, in case you're wondering what hand is fidgeting, it's my left hand that you can't see. That has the fidget stuff in it. That I mentioned before about how I have a pet peeve about VTubers who are doing things with their hands, but their VTuber models don't show their hands doing anything, which is why I usually don't. But here, I'm just standing here talking. Gotta go see in a bit if you're still streaming. I hope this won't be too long, but not past the spoiler-free opening, and it's already 40 minutes. So, but thanks for jumping in. Just so I don't feel completely insane. And I also really like the ending. It starts like in a boring office building. He works at a city hall, by the way. I was like driving, like I was losing my effing mind every time I saw this shot, and every time they showed like shots of his workplace, because I'm like, I know I've seen a place like that in Japan before, because I lived for 3 years in Japan. So surely I know what kind of workplace this is. But in the opening, he's literally standing outside of a building that says City Hall. And I'm like, oh, okay. It is 100% City Hall. Anyway, so this whole City Hall thing turns into a giant disco. And the two of them, Grace and Kenzaburo, do this big giant crazy ass disco. All the characters are jamming out. It's one of my favorite endings. This might be, generally I like the openings of anime better than the endings, because the openings usually have like a lot more like effort put into them, where the endings are just like whatever's in the background, like a slideshow with the credits. But like this is one of those few times where I'm like, dang, they went hard on this ending. That's crazy. So I did not skip the opening or the ending during the entirety of watching this, because they are both unskippable. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts of the show. It's a good, fun, blat. That's all I have to say. I can't make words. Okay, it is a good, fun time. It uses its gimmick of, you know, isekai. It has a unique spin on the isekai, and it actually uses that a lot of the time for comedic effects. So it's a very fun, chill comedy series. Not a chill comedy series, very high energy comedy series. The only issue is that, like, you know, it overly explains some things and it drags a little bit in the second half. But yeah, I like it a lot. So let's get into the details of why I like it a lot. Yeah, episode 1 to 3 also might be a little spoiler free. So if you're still not convinced, keep watching, I guess. But this is the official end of the spoiler free section. If you want to hear about this show, if you are interested in the show, you should go watch it. Because that's why I do these things, is to get people to watch anime and appreciate it and talk about it and whatnot. I want people to enjoy art. My whole mission statement here. But yeah, so if you want to go watch the show, go watch the show and come back and do the thing. But if you already watched the show or you don't care about spoilers, let's get into episodes 1 to 3. Meow meow. Okay, so my first note for episode 3 is probably something that should have gone in the spoiler-free intro. But with the main character being like he's like an old school otaku. So he knows a lot of like, you know, old robot anime and whatnot. So he intends to make references to a lot of like older anime. So when he was explaining the Villainess thing, he was like, "Oh yes, you know, Villainess has actually been, you know, Villainess, a Villainess archetype has actually been around for quite some time. There's this old anime, it's called Aim for the Ace, actually, and there was a Villainess there." And there was also fudge. I actually don't remember. I know Aim for the Ace. Aim for the Ace. I think I've seen an episode or two before. But my knowledge base is in like 2000 from like 2000 to the 2000s and 2010 era anime is where my expertise lies. But I do know a decent bit about anime history. I at least know Aim for the Ace when I see it, because I want to say somebody like worked on that. I want to say somebody like made that show. Aim for the, like somebody like big in the like anime sphere. Tazaki Osamu? I'm not sure. Whatever. Anyway, the point is, yeah, he did work on a little bit of Tetsuwan Atom or Astro Boy. Not to be confused with Tezuka Osamu. Dezaki Osamu. I want to, is that his brother? Okay, no. We're moving on. We're not anyway, Aim for the Ace. And then these other shows, I believe, are this is either one of these two are Glass Mask and Candy Candy. I'm not 100% sure which one is which, because they're like, we don't have the rights to actually show these series, so we're just gonna make vague references to them. I want to say this is Glass Mask, because I ordered these in a specific way. Aim for the Ace and Candy Candy in that order. So there you go. If you want some old shoujo anime manga to read, watch, then there you go. But yeah, I also like how, but I think I talked about this in the spoiler-free intro, where during episode 1, you know, the new girl who's just a lowly commoner who has exceptional magical, she's the girl you would think would be the main character in a regular isekai show, where, you know, she's a relatable character that has secretly overpowered powers, you know. But no, she is kind of a main character, but she's kind of like, you know, Grace Kenza is kind of the main character. But yeah, so Grace Kenza, the main character, goes to meet the real main character, and, you know, Kenza kind of remembers, like, oh yeah, you know, in this part of the game, you know, the Villainess is supposed to, you know, introduce herself and say, you'll be nothing, you are nothing, hip hip, you know. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna go do that, let's go do that. And then, you know, they meet her, and he's like, oh my god, what a sweet little angel, what a sweet little angel, I love you and I will protect you always as if you were my own Nadata. And they become friends. So they have a wholesome they're wholesome gal pals from that moment onwards. There's also like this like sparkly effect, like anytime they're like, oh wow, you're so awesome, the other characters have like a little sparkly effect. again, it is explained in explicit detail, but I knew right away, like, oh yeah, that's like their video game affection level going up. And yes, that is exactly what it is. I also like, the main girl is Anna with the pink hair, and her catchphrase, I guess, is, Sasuga Grace-sama! Which, the anime, or like the subtitles that I was looking at were very inconsistent about how to translate that, because, like the second time that it happened, I'm like, oh, that's her catchphrase, but the subtitles never translated it consistently, which in their defense, Sasuga is very difficult to translate. It's talking about, like, it usually just means like, oh, how as expected, but used as like a compliment. You know, talking about expectations and whether or not they were met is Sasuga. There's your Japanese lesson for the day. We got the Bleach reference, we got the Japanese lesson. All we got to do is find a way to bring Sonic into this somehow. It'll happen, don't worry. I don't know how. I don't have anything planned, but it'll happen. Just let it happen naturally. But yeah, so like anytime Grace is like, hold on, I shouldn't actually know this. I'm gonna get exposed as a fraud. She just goes, ah, as expected. Of course, you're beautiful and smart, and I love you, Grace-sama. So she just goes, Sasuga Grace-sama. It's really funny. Oh, also, this is kind of a positive and a negative. Where they have the eleganto cheato, elegant cheats, where basically any sort of mannerisms that Kenza has automatically gets translated to the correct mannerisms that Grace should have. Because again, they're kind of like one and the same, so that'd be a little awkward, but I feel like, I don't know, I'm a little mixed on that one. If it's like, you know, that could be like a fun thing that they would have to overcome, like how to like retrain their like politeness thing. But again, they are fused into like one person, and also I think it would be a lot harder to keep the secret that Grace is a two. Grace is a they them right now. Grace is two people right now. I think that would be a bit difficult to keep that secret going for too long. What is this? Oh, this is my VTube spout capture. I'm using my mouse also as a fidget toy, just moving it around. You get the idea. But yeah, I think it mostly is lent for comedy. Again, this is not really like a tension kind of thing. It's kind of more like a comedy thing. Also, yeah, Grace said something good, and Anna's like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. But yeah, this anime has like a lot of like high production, because I talked about the opening, but also there's just shots like this of like big, highly animated panning shots of Grace just like spinning around and being graceful, and then the camera just like running down the table. Again, kind of in the second half they kind of stopped doing that, but it's nice to have it here while it's here. It's nice to have it here while it's here. It's nice that it's here while it's here. While it's here, and it's here. Yeah, this is the part where I should have realized that he works at a city hall, because they were talking about like advertisement, using this new anime to advertise for the thing. And then he gets in a big otaku rant of like, oh, you see in this promotional image that you have, the main character is smiling, but actually, if you read the manga, then the main character never technically smiles because of the dragon's curse that he had, that is explained in episode 874. You know, that's definitely not how it goes, but that's the general vibe of that rant. And then the screen just kind of vaguely fades out as he continues ranting. This is may or may not be in chronological order. Oh yeah, here are the like shots of like there's like at the very end of the opening, there's like flashes of like very quick shots that happen, and I just screen capped all of them. Oh yeah, that's another thing, another place that has comedy in this show is how Grace is constantly trying to get Anna hooked up with one of the princes, because that's how, like, you know, that's how she gets happily ever after, and that's beats the game. But she don't care about any of the princes, and by doing anything that she does to try to connect Anna and one of the, not the princes, there's only one prince, and it's me. No, there's this guy, he's a prince. I forget all the main guy side character things. Virgil from Final Fantasy? Veruji. Okay. Wait. Or is it Veruji? One and only discussion. Hi, how's it going? We are an hour in, but I'm still trying to explain the base premise of this show. I don't know. If you've seen it, then great. But if you're not, wholesome old man gets reincarnated as a snooty young girl and shenanigans ensue, okay? Anyway. So yeah, Grace / Kenzabuto tries to get Anna, the main character of this game. Mind me, I watched 0.5 seconds of that. I will not be offended if you left for spoilers. But I don't know, there's some people who are like, I don't care, like, who could watch this whole thing, get spoiled about the entire show, and then go on to watch it because of what I said. Like, I don't know, I've gone and played video games or watched anime because I saw a spoiler about it, and that spoiler made me interested in it. Yeah. But just letting you know, we are officially past the spoiler-free section. And also, I gave you effing over a month. Because I was like, okay, this will happen in like 2 weeks, but I might get distracted because of Rebirth of Souls. That was, a month ago. It doesn't say exactly when a month ago, it just says a month ago. But, oh well. And drop my fidget. Okay. In my defense, you didn't specify. What? I don't have a good defense. You don't have a good defense. I said to watch the show and you should watch it. Whatever. Anyway, so Grace tries to hook up Anna with one of the male romance partners. But everything that she does just makes Anna like Grace more. So, and also the princes like her more. So, like, everything that Grace tries to do to make Anna and one of the tries to set Anna with anybody else just makes everybody like Grace more, and thus it is not a romance anime. It is a it is a comedy anime that is taken place in the guise of a it is a comedy show that takes place in universe in a dating simulator video game. Huh, so out of context. There's already been several different out of context. Toast, do you have any, because I call shows like this where they play around with the gender a lot, like Grace and Kenzabuto are kind of like the same person. You know, we have this old man being reincarnated as a girl, so, and generally people in the anime space call these types of shows gender bender shows, but I don't, that sounds somewhat offensive. Is that offensive? Does anyone take that offensively? But, and if so, what else should I call shows like that? Because it's not, I would say depending. Yeah, it's not necessarily like, it's not like a trans show. Because Kenzabuto, even though he's living in the mind of her, he's like, I gotta beat the game and then get back to my original body. So I don't know. Either way, yeah, I cuddled the kitty for like 20 minutes before the stream, and now she is not bothering me in her sleep. Okay, if anyone takes it offensively, let me know. Clip me on Twitter, cancel me on Twitter, and give me a better alternative. What do you call this? Nothing. It has no tags. The tags of this show are comedy, fantasy, isekai, school, and villainous. Hashtag no tag. Hashtag no tags needed. Anyway, rainbows. Also, don't worry about the please do not worry about the seal that is judging us harshly during the entirety of this stream. But yeah, I know like a whole lot of okay, not a whole lot. I do know that some older anime terms are used offensively nowadays. I have not seen anyone use the term gender bender at all recently, at least not outside of that. Are there interest stacks? Meow, 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 meow. Villainous type anime. Yeah, no, nothing. I also wouldn't even call this show one of those types of shows, because they don't really focus on the gender too much. They just focus on, like, the social standing being crazy. My Hero Academia gender bender videos, I cringe. I watch those all day, every day. Except for the AI generated ones. Peh. Anyway. We talked about the first two episodes. No, we talked about the first episode. We talked about the premise and the first episode. Meow, meow, meow. Yeah, I talked about how he has like a cheat that turns Japanese mannerisms, translates to Madame mannerisms. Because he's like in a game, so he has a cheat code active, but also there's two of them in the same time, so I can see how like his thoughts are getting translated through Grace's brain and getting translated that way. Meow, 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 meow. So yeah, talking about extended plot, puffy skirt. I love that you mentioned that, because I was gonna get to that eventually. I was going to mention that eventually when I had like a better shot of like their outfits, but I kind of don't. Do I really not have like a full thing for Anna? Yeah, Anna has like Anna and all the other girls in the show have like the skirt and the poofy sleeves, but Grace specifically has the poofy dress, and I love the poofy dress. The poofy dress is my favorite part about the show. And her princess curls. Is that what you call those in English? Anna and Elsa? No. Anna is the pink hair girl, who's like the main character of the Otome game, and then Grace is the actual main character. I'm guessing, I think they're called princess curls. I hear princess curls, but I don't know if that's a thing that has just been translated in subtitles in anime, or if that's something people actually say in English. And yeah, what I was saying earlier, like they don't forget about the gimmick. Like they all constantly have Kenza kind of chime in and comment on what's happening. It's time to call Google. You do that. I will try to explain their explanation of the magic system. Because they have like a really long explanation about the magic system. Like, this one I'm not actually, like I said one of my few complaints about the show is that the show overly explains things. But this is one of the instances where I'm like, oh, okay, this is the base magic system that they use a lot. So you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. Princess curls are just regular curls. Can I still call them princess curls? Anyway, so they explain. So somebody's like, okay, so in order to make magic, you gotta make a magic circle. and then you have to write on your wand the name of the spell that you want to use, but it can't be in common language, whatever they're speaking. It can't be like in English, I guess. I don't know what language they said they were speaking. They're just not speaking Japanese, but it's in Japanese, so don't worry about it. Yes, hell yeah. So she's like, okay, so you have to write the name of the spell, but it can't be in common tongue. It has to be in like Pig Latin. And they're like, because, you know, if you write it in a language that everyone around you is thinking in, then you can get some disruptance from other people thinking those words, and then the spell wouldn't work. But if you just write in random nonsense that only you know, then it won't work anyway, because the language has to have history behind it. So that's why we use old languages that aren't used very much nowadays, like Latin. And then Grace is like, so the language that we need to write on the spell can't be in the language that everyone else around us is speaking, but it does need to have significant history to work. So she writes kanji for all of her spells. So she writes the kanji for fire, and it shoots fire. Pig Latin, is that a thing? I don't know. Oh, hold on. I don't have that image on me. Give me a second. I have to go find it. Okay, it's image 7. Let's go back. Add image, add existing. Oh, I still don't get it. Anyway, they have a long-winded way to explain it, but I do like how they, again, I don't know what pronouns to use for the main character, because they're kind of both Kenzato and Grace at the same time, but I like how they use their isekai knowledge to their advantage. I always like that in isekai, as opposed to just being the main character of a fantasy series. I should really organize my crap. Also, quick question. Why are there cat girls? I mean, it's a fantasy series, so of course there are cat girls, but they just kind of don't explain that until like way later. Because like she shows up like in the first episode, and she's like, "Hi, how's it going? I'm a little cat girl maid," and I'm like, "I'm not complaining." But later they do explain that, like, yeah, they're beastmen. It's a fantasy series. Beastmen exist. Whatever. Meow. But yeah, this is a very wholesome moment in episode 2 where this cat girl, which I'm going to look up the name of right now, instead of just calling her this cat girl, Josette over here, is traumatized because up until now, Grace has been kind of a evil dictator boss kind of girl. So she like drops this plate of food and is like, "Oh my gosh, don't yell at me, please! Don't! No more lashings, master, please!" I've never in my anime knew an anime such as Beastmen occurred. There's Beastmen in like almost every isekai. That's a skill issue. Anyway, so she drops the plate of food. And she's expecting Grace to get all mad about it, but Grace currently being a wholesome dad is like, "Oh, don't worry about it, my child. Everybody makes mistakes. That's part of how we learn and grow." And then she's like, "Wait, really?" It's like, "You're not planning to kill me later? You're not planning to lash out and fire everybody?" He's like, "Why would I ever do that, sweet child? Here, have a crepe. Have a crepe, my sweet child." Oh yeah, no, that's back. That's a different scene. Don't look at that scene yet. Don't look at that scene yet. Actually, yeah, we'll talk. That's all I had to say about the Josette scene. You're not crashing out. Are you referring to Grace or me? Because I'm still flipping back. If you're talking about me and the crash out that I had last stream, I'm still flipping back and forth between. I I'm still flipping back and forth between denial and depression. Both. It's fine. Listen, I made a list of like 21 different realtors that could potentially have an extra Switch 2 on launch day. It's fine. And I'm gonna get my email any day now. It's fine. I'm not gonna switch to. I just want to play Mario Kart. I just want to play Mario Kart. I got an email from Target. Target, I don't want your fudging baby powder. Oh, that is a cute dress though. No, go away. Unless you got me an effing Switch, I don't need you. I don't need you, Target. I do have a new message somewhere. That's not a Switch though. Wrong toggle. Hopefully me too. I will drive for, I think I clocked it on around like 3-4 hours just driving. It'll be fine, don't worry about it. Anyway. Buy you a Switch for your birthday so I could have 2 Switches! And then I can just kind of crush them together and I can play Mario Kart, right? Anyway. Yeah. Be fine, don't worry about it. Again, I apologize to the Nintendo intern that has to read that survey. You don't know what I'm talking about. The last stream right prior to this, where I was playing Rebirth of Souls, the last like 20 minutes of that was like, I apologize, but this is how it be sometimes. I swear, I remember your birthday. It's in my bio, like everywhere. The show? As I check my bio. Twitter has it. I don't know if the tubes have it. Tubes do not have it. Also, Blue Sky also does not have it. It's June 9th. So Switch. So hopefully I'll have a Switch for my birthday. It's fine. Anyway, speaking of backstory about crashing out, I'm so smart. I'm glad. Rokugatsu Nanoka? Suitachi Futsuka Mika Yoka Itsuka Moika Nanoka Yoka Kokonoka. Rokugatsu Kokonoka is my birthday. Live proof. Anyway, so we get backstory about how Grace got so effing bitter and angry because she has to go to the blacksmith and get something fixed. And the blacksmith is like, oh, you know, you used to come in all the time when you were younger, Grace, but I haven't seen you around very much. And then, like, Grace's memories start flashing by, and again, Grace is remembering things and thus telling them to Kenzaburo. They're both the same person, don't think about it. But yeah, she used to be, when she was younger, Grace used to be all fun and full of intrigue and liked watching, you know, the blacksmith do his job and whatnot. But she succumbed to the pressure of being a noble and the expectations that were placed upon her. Like, you know, when she was younger, she was full of whimsy, and then later they're like, you gotta learn how to be a dignified old lady. Not an old lady, but a dignified woman. And then that's kind of like when she learned to be all that's when she turned into a villainess. When she was in her younger days. But yeah, that's kind of cool. I was just kind of expecting Grace to just kind of be like a blank slate kind of character. To just be like the body that Kenzaburo just so happens to be embodying. But no, Grace like has her own like backstory, her own trauma and everything, the way that she's kind of doing it, you know. So it kind of implies that, you know, maybe for this whole, you know, having a old Japanese man live in your brain for a couple months, maybe it will help improve her life or something. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Again, I'm pretty sure I can turn this entire stream into an out of context compilation. But yeah, she having a father figure living inside of her head might make her a better person. Is kind of where that is kind of predicting that it's going. And I already talked about this though, like the comedy loop of Grace trying to help Anna along in her Otome game routes and get her friendly with the other guy, the princes, but accidentally making herself liked more. It's really funny. The seal, yeah. Don't ask me why there's the seal that is just judging us. Okay, I will try to give you more context for why we have the seal here by uncropping the image. The graphics in my seal research papers always kill me. Why is she looking at us like it's our fault? Anyway, I'm gonna make that a second. I get emotes. I'm making that an emote. Man, what did I do? Seal is judging you for your crimes. Anyway, I have a combination of screenshots and other stuff. Yeah, I like the flashbacks of old Grace being mean to people. And she's like, maybe I can learn how to not be an asshole. Maybe one day for enough trial and perseverance. I guess I'll seal you later. Please don't leave me. You can leave if you want. We have VODs. This is also one of those anime that have like different pictures done by different people on the animation staff. And this was, I think, for episode 2 or 3. I thought it was fun. There's some that are like kind of horrifying. But yeah, I like when anime do that because they give us cool pictures. Basically, in-universe fan art. In-universe fan art. But yeah, another funny thing. It's really hard to talk about a comedy anime because it's just like, here's another funny thing that happened. You know that like fan that she has over her mouth? That's like a standard trope. Kenza uses that to remember people's names. Because he's like, man, these foreign names are really hard to keep straight. So they write it on the back of their fan. Again, I'm flip-flopping on pronouns. Don't worry about it. Also, math? That's it. That's it. Math? This is Grace / Kenzaburo explaining how mathematical errors can happen because he was like an accountant in his previous life. And then here's like the prince like, oh my gosh, so I'm so respectful. I don't need to show off every single one of these screenies, but you get the idea. Be free, Stag Beetle. Be free. Oh yeah, this is another funny part. Again, I will hopefully not just say this is a funny part. Again, hopefully the second half of this I will have less to say because again, not a whole lot happens in the second half. But hey, we'll see based on my equations. Anyway, so Grace picks a Stag Beetle. Pi times radio is radius. If pi, where's pi? Anyway, I want to say, listen, if you're a math nerd, it's from this screenshot is specifically from episode 3. Where she just explains like, oh yeah, if something's off by this amount, then it's probably a rounding error doing this. Don't worry about it. Anyway, Grace picks off a beetle off of someone's back, and then everyone's like, ew, what the fudge? Get that throw that beetle away. What the fudge? kill it with fire. And Kenza is like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest effing beetle I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, he loves beetles. So he has like an internal internal struggle where Grace like is like grossed out by everyone else, and including Grace is grossed out by the beetle, but Kenza's like, oh my god, this is the best beetle I've ever seen. So they send it wistfully away instead of killing it. And then that accidentally makes everyone else respect them a lot more. Get away from me, please! It's a pretty cool beetle, though. Okay, you don't understand. Look at that, look at that, look at that pincers on that boy. I'm halfway in between. I kind of think beetles are gross, but also I don't want to kill it because he's just a little buggy. Also, there's a character that exclusively makes puns in almost every single time that he talks. It's like this guy, the blue-haired guy. Not much to say there. He just makes a lot of puns. I got some of them, like the bug that you ignore, because bug in Japanese is mushi, and to ignore something is mush. So mushi mush. But yeah, I did learn from this anime that there was a Japanese equivalent of the word dad joke, oyaji gagu. So dad jokes are apparently just a universal concept. English speaking Japan, otome games. Anything else I want to say? I think we need to... We're moving on to the next batch of episodes. Meow, 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 meow. Okay, we'll just have this. We'll just have this up. Where they explain a magic system that is somewhat relevant, but they spend way too long explaining it. We'll do 4 to 6. I know I always do like 3-episode chunks, but that's just my default. But this one I had a specific reason to, because something crazy happens in episode 4, and then in episode 10 the plot kind of like the finale plot kind of starts to happen. So I just agree. Get away from P. What is a pun? Are you asking me what a pun is when you literally just made one 3 seconds ago? I'm delayed. You can watch the stream in double speed. Shift period, I think, is to make it go faster. Keyboard shortcut. I'm almost halfway through my notes. Again, I really don't have much to say about the second half, especially because it's a comedy. After we get the general like plot out of the way, it's just like, yeah, it's a funny episode. I don't know the definition of a pun. A joke exploiting the different possible meanings of a word, or the fact that there are words in which sound alike but have different meanings. Example sentence: the pigs were a squeal. Best puns. Do you actually know what pun means and you just wanted to make that joke? Now I get it. What did the duck say when the waiter gave him the check? Put it on my bill. I found that one again. Are plants good at math? Only if they have square roots. This is one of my favorites. What did the house wear to the prom? A dress! That's it. It's just when you can a word has two meanings, and you use that in a joke, and that's the joke, is that the word has two meanings. Because a dress means could sound like a dress, which is something that you would wear to a prom, or a house has an address. So yeah, I'm sorry I tried to explain to you what a Japanese pun is without actually explaining what the actual pun is. Because in the Isekai, they were like, let's ignore this bug, and the word for bug in Japanese is mushi, and the word for to ignore something in Japanese is mush. So they mush the mushi. They mush the mushi. Mushi the mushi. Cut that out of the VOD. I don't want people to know I'm stupid. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late for all of us. Anyway. The seal sees all. Okay, anyway. Gulp. Okay, episode 4. As soon as I think I have an effing read on this show, it does something absolutely effing crazy. Episode 4 is when things get really effing weird. So it begins relatively normal. They explain the magic system. They're like, okay, there are 4 basic elements: fire, earth, water, and wind. And because it's a Japanese medium, because this is Japan media, wind has to be light green, obviously. Unless you're Pokemon, then wind is like white or brown or whatever. But like, I don't know, that's a thing where wind magic is just green. I don't know why it's green, it's just green, okay? Because I think that I also remember running into that in Kirby Air Ride. I want to say Kirby Air Ride, something wind related is green. I stop getting you sidetracked from the discussion. Before the stream, I'm like, yeah, if I don't have any viewers, then I won't get sidetracked. And I proceeded to ramble for 40 minutes without any viewers, so that's not true. Anyway, we got fire, earth, water, green wind magic, and then the arrows that they're pointing to, like wind counters. No. Wind supports fire magic, fire supports earth magic, earth supports water magic, and then the ones that go like up and down, left and right, what wind and earth counter each other, and then fire and water counter each other. So they're like, okay, so with all that knowledge, you gotta summon your beasts, because the name of the anime is Love and Beasts. So they gotta summon the beasts here. So this is what happens, okay? Great, like, Anna summons her beast, and it's a Pegasus with green wind magic, and she's like, yay, I got green wind magic Pegasus, hell yeah. And then Grace goes to summon their beast, and they summon this, a pair of chibi versions of Kenzaburo and Grace. And I'm like, that's not anything that's not supposed, what the fudge? That's not a mythical elemental beast. What's going on here? And then all of a sudden this screen pops up, and then these hands come from the screen, and they take these two things and they squish them together to create a dragon that has both fire and water attributes. Let that sink in. Hold on, there's somebody at my door. Not you again. Wait. I take it back. Don't let this sink in. Do not let that sink in. He's a freeloader? I don't even know if that bit was audible. Anyway, so yeah, Grace summoned miniature versions of the two people living inside of her head, and then hands came from somewhere and squished the two together. And then, of course, the only thing that Anna has to say about this is, Sasuga Grace-sama! It's like, of course, that's just, Grace is just a genius. Why would she not have, you know, be able to summon two dragons? Also, everyone else's reaction to that was, well, that was weird anyway. Let's ignore that happened. And then Anna's just like, Sasuga Grace-sama! She says that at least once an episode. It's her catchphrase. As expected of the beautiful genius Grace. What in collabs is this? Oh my. It's the sink. It's the goddamn sink. Every time. Okay, so, and then they don't give us they don't make us wait very long, because immediately after, that's like the first half of the episode, and then they're like, wait, we'll explain what just happened after the commercial break. A sink just pulled up to your door. That was the bit. Yeah. No, that was indeed the bit. I said, let the sink in, and then the sink knocked on my door, and then I said, no, I'm not letting you in. And then I came back and I said, you know what, never mind, don't let the sink in. Listen, you have to have a very high IQ in order to appreciate Shlara streams. Hold on. You have to have a... Hold on, I can make it better. Hold on, I can make it better. Okay. Except I don't know, it's attached to my winking now. You really need to have high IQ in order to really understand Shalaris streams. Really, you just, I wouldn't be, I'm not gonna mind at all if, these are not on correctly. If you don't get it, like, that's fine. Like, I wouldn't expect the average plebeian to understand all of my intricate jokes. I should set that up as a toggle at some point, though. It'd be funny. Anyway! So Grace summons two, like, tiny Kenzas and Grace, and then hands fuse them together to a dragon. And then the show is like, listen, wait for the commercial break, we'll get back to this, okay, don't worry. And they do. So they cut back to the beginning of the series where the accident happened, and his wife and daughter find out about it, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, he's not dead. He's not dead. That's another interesting thing. That's why I wanted to put this in the spoiler-free discussion, but this is like super huge episode 4 plot twist spoiler thing, but it is kind of fundamental to how the series works from here on out. So yeah, he's not dead. The truck kicked him into a coma, and he's like, well, he's alive, but his mind is like elsewhere. We don't know where. So, and his wife and daughter are like, oh, well, that's upsetting. Hopefully he can come back eventually. And I'm glad that they're acknowledging it, because it was really sad for the first 3 episodes, where it's like, yeah, this beloved dad with a loving wife and with a beautiful, loving, happy wife and daughter is just effing dead. What? No, that identity theft is a serious crime, Toast. Identity theft is a serious crime, Toast. I will time you out for that. Oh, is that me with the glasses? Oh my gosh, I hate it. I hate every part of that. Why would you do this? You're the oh, you know what? I take it back. You're the reason why this stream is taking so long. It's not your real identity. Well, technically, we are all but servants of our personalities, and all of our different personalities come together to make the self, and the sense of self is an abstract concept, technically speaking. So yes, you are stealing my identity, at least one of my identities that make up my complete sense of self. You bastard. You rat bastard. Anyway, so yeah, I'll keep it. I would suggest no. I was trying to think of something else to say about that. But I guess my viewers are not known to be good listeners, because Michael has been working on that piece of artwork to make me play that game for like the past like month. Anyway, so yeah, he's not actually dead. He's just in a coma, and his brain is in the video game, I suppose. You're not my mom. Fair enough. Sweetie, is that any way to speak to strangers on the internet? Anyway, so they find out that she goes back and is like, well, that's weird. And she goes back and finds her game playing, the Otome game that she was playing, has suddenly started up a new file and is now playing itself. And then you can see here that the character name box is Grace, in parentheses, Kenzaburo. Gonna stay quiet now, no distractions. Don't worry, we're almost done, even though we're only halfway through. Listen, you can talk, just don't pretend to be someone you're not, okay? Don't pretend to be a wolf. Don't pretend to be me. Do I have to make that an official stream rule? Because this is not the first time that I've had this have an issue. Anyway, they go home, their her game console has started up a new file in not Love and Beasts. What the fudge is the series called? Magical Academy, Love and Beasts. So then that's weird, and it's like, oh my god, and then they finally put 2 and 2 together, that this magical thing is, dad is inside the TV. And she's like, oh my god, mom, you're never gonna believe this. I think dad got isekai'd into the video game, and that's the video game that's playing on the TV right now. And it's like one of those modern isekai anime. And then the mom goes, technically, isekai anime has been around for quite some time. You never heard of, isekai is not a, actually, isekai never even really originated in Japan. It actually started with Alice in Wonderworld. Because the mom is also, like, the dad, the mom, and the daughter are all super huge, otaku. So they had to sidetrack the fact that their dad is stuck in a video game to discuss the details of the history of isekai anime. Which, honestly, I would also do in that situation. So yeah, so basically they play through the story up until this point, and then they find out, like, hey, we need your help. We need you to lend a hand. And so she reaches into the TV screen and does basically what we saw earlier, where she fuses the two things together. So that's a little odd, and that's how they create Orion, which is the name of the little dragon. I don't know why I remembered the dragon's name and nothing else, because again, if it's not Bleach or 100 Girlfriends, I don't remember anyone's names in any series that I watch. Kitty Curse Uprising, I know a few. Unless every character's name is a pun, or I have hundreds of hours into that series, I don't know. There, I changed it. What the fudge is that? What is it? Hold on, I have a clip for this. Man, this is the point. This is the disadvantage of keeping my files like this, because I know it's somewhere here. I know it's real. Okay, here we go.
Oh, what the fuck? What is that? What is that?
And also, while I have it pulled up, I will also.
Oh, bitch! What the fuck?
It's Mike Wazowski with Shrek's face. Okay, one more. Can I do one more? Permission to do one more? Yes, oh hell yeah. Gotta make it a good one. Oh, you know what? This is a good one.
Bitch, what the
fuck? Anyway, so that's how the series goes from that point. That's also my reaction to what happened here. That one scared me. I'm sorry, that was too loud. That's also my reaction to what just happened here. Is, bitch, what the fuck? So yeah, essentially what is happening is that the main character did get isekai'd into a video game, but the video game is real, and his daughter and wife are watching him play the game, but he doesn't know that they're watching him, because his daughter like had the option to name the dragon, and she named it Orion, and it's like, based on that robot show that me and dad used to watch growing up, sure, he'll know that it's me. And then he saw the name of the dragon and was like, oh, that's a cool name, reminds me of that robot show. Did not put two and two together. But yeah, I like this a lot. Like, the show 100% could have done without this, and most isekai do. Most isekai don't give an actual F about the friends and family members that they left, like the actual act of like disappearing from the world and not, none of your friends or family ever seeing you ever again. I can only think of this show and ReZero that do that. Is that a spoiler for ReZero that they acknowledge the fact that Subaru left the world left his home world unexpectedly? But yeah, they don't. Most isekais, like, the real world doesn't exist anymore. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about all your friends. They'll never, friends and family, never see anyone. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so they 100% could have done without this, as most isekai do. But the fact that they explain this and have it part of a story kind of adds a whole level of like neatness to the series. And I'm also glad that it was this way, because if the dad was just dead with a wife and child, that would be like really sad. So I'm glad that's not how it actually goes. So I think it's cool. Although this is most of the culprit of... Okay. I lost my buttons. This is most of the culprit of the show over-explaining things. Because every so often we'll cut to the wife and daughter just watching the gameplay itself and being like, ah, yes, this is the part of the game where XYZ happens. So this should happen, but I don't know if this is gonna happen because dad's a weirdo and messed up the storyline and messed up the timeline. You know? So, I don't know. It doesn't, in the long term, it doesn't end up adding too much, but it's still kind of cool. It's neat, okay? It might be a little poorly executed, but it is neat nonetheless. Because the only, like, real input that they have is controlling Orion. And that one time that she had to squish the twos together. but mostly they just kind of like interrupt the story to explain what's going on. So don't worry about it. And yes, they make a Dragon Ball Z reference where they're like, we'll combine our powers together, like mother and daughter, and help dad. And like, it's the part where the son and the dad shot a laser in Dragon Ball or whatever. I don't know. They also made a JoJo reference at some point. Again, I don't have time to go through every single bit of comedy in the show, okay? But that does explain this scene in the ending, where they were watching the ending happening on TV, and I'm like, what the fudge is this? But now that the opening and ending make a lot more sense now that this is kind of happening. So I don't know why it's not in the first like episode that they explain this, other than it's like in the fourth. Very odd. And yeah, when this is how they are seeing the events of what is happening. But it is like a real world. It is they say it's a real world, that a parallel world that looks like the game world. Cuz like, you know, there's real, you know, like they're viewing it as a game, but like their dad is in there. These people are real, you know. They have emotions and they go off script, which is something else that also another Villainess Isekai anime also did. I don't want to get specifics because it's kind of a spoiler, but it's interesting that those two have something in common. But yeah, she can turn a dragon blue, or the daughter can turn the dragon blue by hitting a button on the controller. And that's pretty much the only impact they have. So it's a cool idea. 100% didn't need it, but I like that it's in here. I just wish it was executed a little bit better. And look, he's blue, and he can blue Sonic. Okay, there we go. Anyway, we got their Sonic reference out. We got the Bleach. What was that other thing? Oh, Japanese lesson and the Sonic reference out for the stream. We're good. We met our quota. Oh yeah, at this point, Grace tries to, like, the old guy, like the grand wizard headmaster of the school is like, hey, I've never seen a summon beast that can have two elements at the same time. Why'd you got two? I've never in my 10,000 years of being at this academy have I ever seen anything like that. I'm just reading the Japanese, making sure that I have the right screenshot, even though it doesn't matter. It matters to me. Anyway, so, and then Grace is like, okay, I'm gonna try to come clean. I'm gonna try to come clean and tell them about what happened. And so they're like, okay, actually, what happened is just before the school semester started, I fell off my horse and somebody isekai'd into me, and now there are two people living inside of my head. So maybe the fact that there are two people in my head is probably the explanation for why my summoned beast has two elements. And instead of sending her to the nut house, she used the elegance cheats to automatically make things sound prim and proper. And she explained it in a way that was vaguely worded. So they're just like, you know, that's just you know, growing into a young lady, you know? Personalities happen all the time when you're a young lady. That's just you, you know, growing up and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So she's like, well, I tried. And meanwhile, on the other side of the screen, his daughter's like, no, don't fucking say that! They'll lock you in the loony bin! She's like, there is an actual, like, plot line in the game where Grace gets possessed by a demon and tries to kill people, and that could accidentally trigger that event early. But no, everything worked out fine. So yeah, I don't know. It's not that Grace is trying to hide it. It's just that like she can't explain it properly. So who knows? I don't know why I have these pictures of Grace and Anna looking cute, but here we go. I like Anna's hairstyle. It's very unique. Like the top half is like normal, but then like the bottom half has like goes off in like a weird V shape. It's a very odd hairstyle, but I kind of like it. It's a very interesting and unique hairstyle, so I approve. I don't know why I have more pictures of the opening here. Anyway, afterwards, they go train with their beasts. And I can't get away from the Urahara underground training thing. It's under Urahara in Bleach. There's this like desert rocky landscape with a white blue sky. That's like an underground training facility. And it appears in Bleach like 3 times because there's also one in the Soul Society because Urahara built it there. And then also the Vizards have one for some reason. It looks exactly the same. And then when they went to this place to train, I'm like, oh god, it's back! It's back! I can't get away! I can't get away! But I don't know. They fought a dinosaur. They fought a dinosaur! That's it. That's all I had to say. It was an interesting thing where they're like, oh yes, you know, in the past, before people knew what dinosaur bones were, they had theories that, you know, dinosaur bones were failed homunculuses that magicians made. Which I want to say is somewhat true. I do know that people thought birds hibernated before they found out what migration was. Now I'm going to bed. Did well my service tonight. The city needs me. Thank you for joining. You are 158 in the stream if you want to pick up where you left off in the VOD. But otherwise, thanks for joining. And you'll be hearing from my lawyer soon enough. Anyway, thanks for joining. Next stream will probably be Friday. I don't know what's going on. Also, watch Ranma, because spoiler alert: the next anime is nope, that's not it. The next anime is indeed Ranma 1/2, 2024, the first season, which I'll be watching the dub if you care, just because I felt like it. Okay, good night. I will. I appreciate it. Anyway, okay, so they fight a dinosaur, but yeah, so they're like, oh yeah, you know, in ancient times, people believed that dinosaur bones were failed homunculus experiments by magicians, and then that turns out that wasn't the case. And I said something about birds, and then they're like, oh, in this world, that's actually true. And then the dinosaurs come to life, and then they're angry, and then they fight them off, and then that's all I wanted to really say about that one. Because they fight off the dragon with magic infused shields and weapons, swords that Grace teaches them for reasons beyond my understanding. I also like how they sometimes have this view, like they have a view of the game and they're like, oh yeah, for side characters they just get these little like pixel sprites instead of full screenies, which I think is funny. Meow, 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 meow. Again, I don't need to do every single thing, but Grace turned her wand into her fan by using her oh, now I remember why I did this. Because this series of screenshots, this scene references Pin Pineapple Apple Pen, which I have not seen referenced in quite a while. Where he goes, oh, and pushes the two together. Pin, pineapple, apple, pen. Okay. I know when I was in Japan, like, early 2020s, that like 2017 to like 2020, That was like a thing that people referenced a lot. Like every time I taught the kids the word for apple, they're like, I have an apple! I have a pen! I'm done. Anyway, we're almost done. I am about halfway through my more than halfway through my notes. I just want to say how I like how the conflict was resolved in episode 6, because these little bitchy girls over here is like, oh, Grace-sama, you don't need to be hanging out. They're like the in the regular game they would be like Grace's groupies. And they're like, oh, Grace, you shouldn't be hanging out with a pathetic little commoner like her. And I like how, and Grace is like, okay. And then they go off, and then they start bullying Anna, and they're like, you know, Grace doesn't even like you. She don't even want to be your friend. She just hangs around you because she's too nice to say how she really feels. She doesn't like you at all. She can say she. But I like that. So there's this tension, and I like how the tension resolves. Seeing if I should really organize my thumbnails before I do that. But Anna's basically like, screw you. She chose to stand up for herself. She was like, you know, why would I effing believe what you bullies have to say over my effing friend? I'm gonna trust Grace. I'm gonna ask her directly. And I know that, and if I'm not gonna believe any BS until I hear it myself. And also, my mom told me about bullies that talk bad about people behind people's back, and that you don't want to talk to them because if they talk about about other people behind their backs, they're definitely going to talk about you behind your back. So don't trust them. And also plus L, and also plus ratio is basically what she did. So Anna had like a fun little like, I'm gonna stand up for myself kind of moment, and power of friendship. And then Grace comes in, and Grace chooses peace instead of getting mad at all these bullies about like, hey, stop fucking spreading lies and rumors. Grace is like, oh my gosh, there has to be some sort of misunderstanding. I'm sorry that I gave you that impression. You know, she instead of, you know, like kicking the bullies while they're down, she chose peace and the option that made everyone happy. Which is like, hey, I'm gonna take a little bit of the fall just so, you know, we still have reasons to be friends. And so they're all on good speaking terms still. And I like that. That is a very, again, it's a very mature way to resolve conflict. Instead of going for the easy revenge, they made friends with them. So, and they took a bullet for the sake of peace, and I was like, ah, yes, that is Dad's, you know, 54 years of working in customer service at work there. You know, I've always, so I don't know. I like that. I like that instead of like, you know, just treating these girls as like bullies. They Grace slash the MC character, the main character decided to, you know, take a bullet and you know, apologize for any misunderstanding she might have caused, even though that's not the reason they were being bullies, and, you know, made friends with them. They're not reoccurring characters. They show up in the background every so often, but they are now on good. They're not like villains, and I was worried about that. So I like that a lot. And that is the ending of episode 6. And now we have episode 7 until 9. this is the part I don't have a lot to say about. I apologize. Because, okay, basically, this is the part where they kind of just meander for a little bit until the show ends. So we have that big thing that happens, and then Grace's dad comes back home with the milk, and you know, we get a little backstory about him. You know, he is a little self-conscious about oh yeah, so he gives Grace a wooden horse as a present, not realizing that she's too old for wooden horses, and everybody's expecting Grace to lash out at her dad for, because that's how Grace used to be, but that's not who Grace is anymore. So she accessed Grace search, the Grace Google search for her memories. Kenzaburo searched Grace's memories and was like, "Oh hey, thank you, Dad. I actually really needed a rocking horse because my, 5-year-old cousin, cousin, is, he's about to have a birthday soon. So this would make a great present. Thank you, Dad." And it's very wholesome. And then Dad has a whole episode about how, like, man, I shouldn't have been so mean to Grace. No. What did he say? Oh yeah, he was like, "Oh man, I really need to shape up as a father. I can't be treating Grace like this." And he has insecurities because he comes from a peasant life, and he was married into this big royal family. And then he and Grace have a top contest, and Grace is like, I appreciate you, Dad, and I love you, Dad. I'm assuming Grace was the one that said that. It would be awkward if it was Kenza. But you get the idea. Also, this screenshot of his wife and daughter imagining him doing the kind of that those type of characters do. Anyway. So yeah, that's cool. And then, so they have that. So during when Grace first got the okay, here's a scene where you can see their outfits. They have like their magic cloak over it, but you can see how her skirt is really puffy, and now that skirt is not normally supposed to be puffy. And Grace has main character privilege like that. She can modify the suit. But yeah, I do like how Grace Dad comes back with the milk. Kenzaburo helps improve the relationship. And it was at this point where I was like, okay, I think Kenzaburo and Grace are kind of like one and the same. And so probably after the series, Kenza is going to go back to the real world with his wife and child. And then Grace is going to continue living in this world as like a better person, better than what she was before, using her experiences or something. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I haven't seen past this anime. I have not read the manga, but that's just my guess of where the story is heading. So anyway, they have this big magic exhibition that they've been hyping up for like the past like several episodes, and Grace and Anna gotta team up together to take down a crab monster. And then they team up, and then they take down the crab monster. They go whoosh, and then they stab it. Whoosh, and then they stab it. Wait. And then they do the thing where they turn their back and then it explodes behind them. And I'm like, well, that was underwhelming. Because they've been, ever since like episode 4, this is like episode 7. So 4, 5, 6, 7, they've been hyping this big magic exhibition for like 4 episodes. And it was just like, they gotta go kill that spider thing. And then they killed the spider thing. That was it. The only real, issue was that they're like, oh yeah, in the game, Anna doesn't have really great stats, so I don't know if she has enough MP to help Grace defeat this monster. But little did they know, You see, the issue with that is she got fat. She won because she got fat. Because she was talking about, like, you know, I'm putting on some pounds and I don't want to be fat. And Grace is like, oh, it'd be really sad. You know, you always eat food with so much joy in your heart. I would be so sad if you wouldn't do it. And then Anna's like, okay, you know what, for you, I'll eat. I'll effing eat. And then she's also like, okay, so basically what she did is that she got fat and then did a bunch of like cardio to work off all the pounds, and that's how she got so much MP and was able to beat the fight. I just thought that was funny. It was funny. It's just funny. I liked it. It was funny. I liked it. It was funny. Here's another wacky illustration of them that episode by Yajima. Anyway, I don't understand. Listen, I know I have a effing certification in Japanese, but I don't understand how people struggle to read Japanese names. Like, struggle to pronounce Japanese names that are written in English. As long as you can pronounce A, I, U, E, O, you could do it. You could do it. I believe in you. It's like, oh yeah, that guy, Tomo. He made the Donkey Kongs. He made the Monkey Kongs. The Mitomo guy. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that name wrong. I don't speak Japanese. Pretty sure his name is can I just call him Matt? Do you have like an English name? Anyway. This is by the way, Toast was not the one that was making me rant for several hours. But yeah, I like how the story, that the conflict was Anna doesn't have enough magic, and the resolution was because Grace was nice to Anna in this timeline, she got fat, and then she did a bunch of cardio to work off the weight, and then she got her a magic buff from doing that. Yeah, sometimes the other characters like join in with the bubble. So I want to say for episode 7 and no other episode, like the little like things that appear on screen. I'm trying to find one. There's like some like on-screen text that happens at some point sometimes throughout the series, and they usually like stuff like this, where he's like, "Oh, I'm such a proud father of my little baby girl Anna's learning magic." Most of the time they just have that text on screen, but for episode 7 and only 7, they read that text out loud. I don't know why. They didn't do it before then, and didn't do it since. Yeah, like here. So, like, I don't know, man. Just weird. So anyway, episode 8 was cute, but a little pointless. Moving on. Anna learns how to be a maid. I don't know. Don't worry about it. Something is interesting is in the opening we see Kenza in like this weird whiteless void, and he finds Grace in a cage, and I just thought that was like a metaphorical thing that happened for the opening. But during a dream sequence, that actually ends up happening. The opening actually ends up happening, where Kenza finds Grace in a cage in like a dream sequence. Don't know what's up about that. Maybe, again, pulling to my theory of, you know, Kenza is here to, you know, help Grace to pull her out of be a better person, and that the series is going to end with Kenza going back to his world and his family, and Grace being a better person. Again, I don't know. I haven't written anything. I mean, I haven't written this series specifically. But yeah, there's lots of cute scenes of Anna having to test Grace's bed, and then she ends up enjoying it way too much. And then we also get a backstory about how there was like this cat girl, not the same cat girl from before. This cat girl that doesn't have pink hair, and she has a very thick accent, but she has the power to heat things up, so she can basically make her own hair curlers, and she did hair curlers for Baby Grace. I just wanted pictures of Baby Grace because it's cute. And then at the end of the episode, just for some fan service, Grace dresses up as a maid too. I like this face. I also like this face. I also like this shot. They're holding hands. It's a good shot. And this shot where they're holding hands and then watching the sunset together. I love it. But yeah, that's all I have to say about episode 8. Episode 9 is also kind of the same. 7, 8, yeah. 7 was Dad coming back for the milk, and then magic exhibition. 9, 8 was just like, yeah, fun, what felt like a filler episode. Oh yeah, this was the point where I realized, oh yeah, it says Shiyakusho on the thing. I'm like, yeah, that's City Hall. I've been in a City Hall before. Worked in a City Hall before. Where like when I first got there, they're like, okay, well, you're contracted to start working now, but the schools don't open for like another week. So just kind of hang out and work on lesson plans in City Hall. And I'm like, okay. That's a good face. These are just my screenshots from now on. Anyway, episode 9, also a bit pointless. They just had to go, but it was still fun. Again, it is a comedy anime, but specifically episode 8 and 9 is where not a lot of things happen, you know? Like, there was a lot of, like, you know, establishing relationships and, like, getting plot happening in between all the fun comedy. Bleach episode 203. Hello, Louise. Well, what episode of Akuyaku Reijou Tensei Ojisan are you? Bleach? I want to say that's... Is that in a filler arc? No. That's near the end of the Waco Mundo arc, right? Yeah, that's at the tail end of... Oh, wait, no, that's at the... Okay, no, that's right before the past arc. Okay. Did you watch the filler arcs? Because the new captain Shusuke Amagai arc is not bad. I skipped it in my watch, but you get the idea. It's not as good as Zanpakuto Tales or Invading Gotei 13 arc. But yeah, I feel like if you're the first time watching Bleach, just skip the fillers. And then if you want more, then go watch Zanpakuto Unknown Tales and then the Gotei 13 Invading Army arc. Although I will say, you have to watch Gotei 13 Invading Army arc before Lost Substitute Shinigami arc. Watched everything from episode 1? You crazy. You crazy. Anyway, back to talking about current anime that I'm talking about now. Also watching the movies. Movies are very good. We covered the first 2 movies. If you want to hear me talk about Bleach, it's in my channel. Yeah, it's under Earth. Okay, it's under anime streams, or you can go to podcasts and Bleach discussions, or you can go to the Bleach the Complete Series playlist. Bleach Streams the Complete Collection, which currently has 32 streams in it, 9 of which are Rebirth of Souls. But yeah, the first Bleach movie is still one of my favorite, like, movies. It's a good movie. Anyway, episode 9, of Villainous. Fun, a little pointless, still fun. I mean, listen, I know it's a comedy anime, but like until now, they've still been like introducing something and adding to like some sort of overall plot. It's been like a balance of like mostly comedy with a little bit of plot progression, but you know, it just kind of, and the comedy is still fun. Like it is still like they do get on a lot of wacky adventures here. But you know, it just kind of feels like one of those anime that's just kind of filling out the last half of the series before the finale. I don't know, just kind of feel like it out of a lot of anime, where a lot of like 12-episode anime where like they have a really strong like first half where they introduce all the characters and they introduce like the plot and all the mechanics and everything, and then they just kind of meander for a little bit in the second half until they have like a big climactic ending. And just this is just kind of like one of those songs. But something cool about episode 8, which is why it's the best episode, is that for cute on a face, is that for one of the episodes they had to I don't know what this is. Oh yeah, hold on. In this episode they changed into their summer outfits. And you can, it's mostly the same, but you can kind of see them here. Oh yeah, and in this shot, you can see their summer outfits. They just have shorter sleeves. Anyway, this episode is the best because for one of the riddles, they have to lure like a gnome out of his house so they can blow wind on him because it's a riddle, whatever. And so to lure the gnome out, they have to play taiko. I mean, and by taiko, I mean they have to play the drums. And Grace is like, hold on, I know how to play the drums because I have experience playing taiko. And she sings, Galaxy Express 39 will take you on a journey, a never-ending journey, a journey through the stars. Okay. The banger ass song. So if you don't know what this song is, there was a series, an old anime series, I want to say the 80s, called Galaxy Express 39 or Galaxy Express 999. How do you spell galaxy? The 70s. It was a TV show / movie in the 70s. I've seen the movie. I've not seen the TV show because I think it's like, yeah, it's 113 episodes long, but I have seen the movie. And also I accidentally put my cape on. That's okay. Things like that happen when I'm getting excited about Galaxy Express 39. We'll take you on a journey, a never-ending journey, a journey to the stars. It's like an old anime, and that is like the main theme. And they actually sang the main theme. Like that was the ending theme for that episode. Is that Kenzaburo singing Galaxy Express 39 with the Galaxy Express at the top and the credits and it's great. That was the thing that actually convinced me to watch the series, because I saw that clip on Twitter and I'm like, oh hell yeah, Galaxy Express 39. Like they sang like the real song, like the real ass song. Nose. I need water. I'm getting too excited. Like, I don't know how they got permission to just sing the real song. Seeing as how they've censored every other anime reference till now, but I love it. I love it. But yeah, even though I saw this clip on Twitter because that's what made me want to watch the show in the first place, when it happened, it still caught me off guard because I had entirely forgotten about it. And then when they started drumming the Galaxy Express 39 song, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. That's some good anime. But yeah, 10 out of 10 anime. I take everything bad I ever said about it. There is a full cover on YouTube if you want to watch it. Here's the YouTube link in the stream live chat, and I will also put it in the description. Can I edit a description live on stream? If you're watching this as a VOD, it is probably in there. And the only reason I'm doing it now so I do not forget. I can't spell. Okay, it is now officially in the description. If you're watching this as a VOD, and possibly if you're watching it live, the YouTube link for the full cover of the Kenzaburo cover of Galaxy Express 39 is in the description. Anyways, I can't find anything. Almost done, because that was all I had to say about those batch of episodes. Also, having flashbacks of playing Rubik's Cube with his daughter. Also, I like this end of episode illustration. Okay, so next episode. Next batch of last batch of episodes. We things kind of start to get moving a little bit, although not really. It is still a lot of screwing around, but plot does finally start to happen. Where they go to they have summer break and they go to Anna's hometown and they meet Anna's mom. And that's, I mean, listen, after 3 episodes of let's solve some riddles, I will take any plot that I can take at this point. I'll take any new character that I can at this point. But yeah, Anna's mom is special because Kenzaburo / Grace is like, why do you know so much about nobility if you're just a commoner? And she's like, I'm just a commoner, I don't know, it's just a lucky guess, I guess. So there's definitely something going on with her, but that's pretty much all that happens there. But it is cool seeing Anna's hometown, and that something is afoot. And then we finally go back to the school and we start the final arc, which is, oh yeah, I don't know why they were talking about plays, and this is clearly referencing Shinchan, and I approve of any reference to Shinchan. They do a cross-dressing play for the school festival. Hell yeah! I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Especially, fudge. What is this guy's name? Lucas. Yeah, Lucas has the best cross-dressing. Look at him. Look at him. I'm like, this is finally the playing around with gender that I wanted from this series. Again, the reasons that I am not super duper in love with this series is not because it's not what I wanted, but just for the pacing issues. But you know, we'll take it when we can. So the plot of the story, I want to know, is this, anyone that knows about this show and this story, is this story like real? Because they talk about like, oh, there's this old folk tale. We also get to see Grace cross-dressing. And that's what motivates Anna to do this play. Anyway, so the basic premise is that, you know, a prince and a lonely commoner boy meet up and then switch places, and then the commoner boy has to live in the castle, and then the prince has to live in the slums, and they learn things about their time. And I'm like, is this story like real? Because like, I've seen other anime with a similar setup of a prince/princess and a commoner switching places. Although now that I say that, I can only think of one, and it's a spoiler, but still, I'm curious to know if anyone knows more about this than I do, because, by the way, is that costume on the right referencing Rose of Versailles? Rose of Frischot? I'm almost done. Soul, you can do this.
Versailles.
Versailles? It's just Versailles? Rose of Versailles. Apparently. But yeah, I'm surprised they didn't reference that. That is like a... That or Utena. Utena would have also been a suitable reference. Anyway, that might be what it is referencing on the right over here. Anyway. Yeah, it's a cool arc. Again, it's kind of just a school play arc. So just kind of what you expect to happen happens. Where, you know, where, you know, they set up the play and they're like, oh no, is the play gonna go bad? And then, hey, the play goes well. Oh my gosh. But, I do like the moment where, Anna works herself to exhaustion. No, not that part specifically, but I like the story beat of Anna working herself to exhaustion because she's trying to put her best play for Grace, and then Grace is like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have put so much pressure on you, I'm sorry. And, you know, it's a very wholesome, like, people sacrificing each other for other people's benefits, and that is where the conflict is coming from. And I like stories like that, where the main source of conflict for the story is the characters are just too nice to each other. They're just too nice. So I like that. I also like this bit of animation where Anna's like, yeah, I haven't eaten in like 30 hours. I should probably eat something. And then she stands up and then kind of falls down until she falls down completely. But I like that, like, I don't know what to call it, the Kill a Kill style animation, where you're not technically animating anything, you're just animating, you're just taking one picture and then sliding it in for comedic effects. And it works. It works here. Of her, like, slowly just, like... Hold on, can I recreate the effect? Doing that, basically. I was like, I'm gonna be all OCD about me being recentered. Okay. I like that effect in anime. And also, as a writer, I relate to these series of screenshots of Anna having a effing breakdown because she can't think of anything to write. I'm working on it, okay? It's just been rough. I didn't get a Switch 2. What is the point of releasing a book if I can't even use the book to keep my Switch 2 dock from bending in storage? Which is why you have to do the Switch 1 dock. But I want to say they fixed the Switch 2. They said they fixed the Switch 2 dock for that, but I don't believe anything Nintendo says. Anyway. And then they also introduce a new character who's like a nerd girl. And she's like, oh my gosh, I love players. I'm a play otaku, and I'm gonna make the best goddamn play. And then they're like, very nice, very nice, very nice. I like the Grace face. I like this Grace face. Grace face. But yeah, everybody helps each other, and then they're like, oh my gosh, the play is not gonna go well. But then everybody kind of comes through in the end, and everything's fine. I do like how this new character has a camera, and they're like, oh, it's a magical tool that can take picture, that can copy your image or whatever. And then outside of the game, they're like, oh yeah, that's the icon for the in-game screenshot. I like little stuff like that. But yeah, we get some boys dressing up as girls. Hell yeah. And some girls dressing up as boys. And boys dressing up as girls. And why does Lucas make such a cute girl? They all make great girls, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I love them all. What was I talking about again? But yeah, so anyway, they're like, oh no, the play is gonna go bad. But then the play doesn't go bad, and Lucas's best girl. Lucas's best girl. Do I not have any... Did I not take a screenshot of that? Oh no, I do have lots of screenshots of that. Oh yeah, there's a slight trouble with Grace not being able to... Because of her elegance cheat, she can't speak like a commoner, which is her role in the play. So that's a little awkward. And then we also have Grace's dad being like, wait, I recognize that lady. And she's like, shh, it's a secret. And then she disappears, and he's like, what was that? And then they're like, what's wrong, Malige? And then he's like, no, it's nothing, it's fine. I thought I saw something, but I guess I'm mistaken. Don't want my head touching the thing. But yeah, so they do the play, and the play goes well. Lucas is best girl. Also like how he comes up and down on a rope. That's really fantastic. I just have a bunch of screenshots. Sorry. And then how the plot ends up happening is that, okay, so the plot in the play is that they switch bodies, but then once, you know, somebody, true love, once somebody figures out through true love what is the secret, then the spell gets undone. And then they're like, I'm sure that's not relevant for anything that may or may not happen in the future. Read the manga. And then we get to see Grace's mom. We don't get to see her face. We might see her face, but she's talking to this glowing orb, which is clearly not normal. And so they're like, oh, you know, Grace's mom's like, oh, I wish I could be there in person and see Grace myself. And then the orb is like, remember, you're on an important mission. You can't forget now. And Grace's mom is like, I know. And they're like, ooh, what could this be? Read the manga. Just read the manga. We're not gonna give you a season 2. Just read the manga. If you want these questions answered, read the manga. The anime is just an advertisement for manga, and you just have to be okay with that, okay? So yeah, the series just kind of effing ends. Yeah, everybody helps each other. Play goes well. Something's up with Grace's mom and Anna's mom. Maybe they know each other. Maybe they're also Isekai Jin as well. Maybe, I don't know. And then they end off with this. They look at the pretty fireworks. Oh my gosh, look at the pretty fireworks. Isn't it pretty fireworks? And that's it. That's the end of the series. So a little bit of an anticlimactic ending. I like the play arc. But again, it was just like, you know, it was a kind of standard play arc. Like, it was fun, but, you know, it could be better. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too used to the first couple episodes, but these last couple episodes was like, yeah, it was cool. Didn't accidentally screamed. Yeah, it was cool, but like, it could be cooler. It was kind of a very standard school play arc at the end of the day. And it was hinting at future things that you're not gonna know unless you read the manga. But yeah, ending times. I like the show. It's a fun little comedy show. I think they did a good job of like, oh yeah, we have this cool gimmick, and they did not waste the gimmick. You know, like a lot of the comedy and a lot of the like plot elements revolved around the fact that it is an isekai. It's not just a fantasy series starring viewer insert character. it is actually about this old Japanese man trying to fit in and be in place and do things as a young, snooty, rich girl. And yeah, and I think a lot of the comedy works, and it's really wholesome, and you know, of them trying to be a villainess, and not doing a very good job and just making everybody like them. Sasuga Grace-sama. Okay, I need to stop saying that. Here are all the princes. I think this is like before they introduced them. Landed on this. Of everybody being like, oh my gosh, Grace, you're the best. The blue hair guy is the guy who makes all the dad jokes. He and the main character had like a dad joke rap battle or whatever the fudge. Dad joke battle. A pun off is what I wrote. But yeah, I like that it uses the gimmick to its full. It does not forget that it's an isekai. It doesn't pretend like, oh, it's just a fantasy series, whatever, like a lot of other isekai do. They do use that fact like constantly throughout the series. It has some pretty cool twists and turns and some interesting things that you would not otherwise think. Just the concept in general of like this balding middle-aged man getting isekai'd into a girl romance game made for girls where you date cute boys is already funny enough, but they do a lot of other interesting things with it. But yeah, and again, the only problem I have is halfway through it kind of loses some steam. Like I really like it was about episode 6 I liked a lot of, and then 7 was okay. And then like, yeah, 7 to 9 was just like one-off episodes basically, and then 10 to 12 was like the last arc, and that was a little underwhelming, and then it kind of ends with a eh. So but I definitely overall liked it. I don't know if I would have dropped it. I probably, because that's the thing, is like I still liked it enough, and I was halfway through, so I'm the kind of person where I'm like, I might as well just finish it if I'm almost done with it. Like, it's just 6 episodes. I've watched all of the original Naruto filler, which is like several hundred episodes, so clearly. But I don't think, even if I wasn't doing the series, I don't think I would have dropped the show. I liked it enough. I would give it somewhere between a 6 or a 7. And by that I mean, I view my ratings as basically a ranking, like where I compare my rating to everything else. So I'm not saying it's like bad. I'm just saying like compared to everything else, I think it kind of goes around where in this category. 6 or 7? Is it fine or is it good? Because I'm leaning toward fine because half of the show is kind of boring. But I want to say 7 just because like what is there is really good, and it is like unique and interesting and a fun take on the isekai genre. So you know what? We'll give it a 7. We'll give it a 7. By the way, I will publicly post my my whole anime catalog. I need to move Mal away. I need to move out of Mal because I'm currently on Mal and myanimelist.net, and my Mal just got bought by a huge tech company that is all about fudging NFTs and AI. So I need to get the fudge out of here, dude. Because I know I've been using Mal since like, oh gosh, 2012 for like effing 10 years now. But I have no attachment to this website. I just need to find a way to bring my anime list over to another website. But when I do that, I will post it so people can stalk my anime watchings. But as opposed to speaking of stalking my anime watchings, that was Akuyaku Reijou Tensei Ojisan. It was pretty cool. I like the unique things that it does. It just kind of lost steam in the second half. Solid 7 out of 10. Next anime we will be discussing is Ranma 1/2 2024 remake season 1, which is 12 episodes, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, because I've been meaning, because earlier when I was like, oh yeah, I love the gender bender anime. Magical sex shift? Sorry, that sounds weird. But sometimes it isn't magical. I mean, I guess if it's well, sometimes, I don't know. I feel like the term gender bender is a lot more, like, widely broadening into what I'm specifically looking for, as opposed to just whatever magical sex shift means. Also, doesn't sound as funny. But again, I'm willing to not say gender bender if people think it's offensive. Anyway, so despite my liking of that genre and liking just any anime that talks about gender and whatnot, gender role types and stereotypes and gender roles and whatnot, and the worms, I've somehow never seen the original Ranma 1/2. It's been on my plan to watch list since I became an anime fan, but it's 161 episodes, half of which being filler. Kinda made me like, I'll get to it eventually. Maybe I'll watch it through with a filler list. But now they're remaking the series, so now I'll just watch that. I mean, I've not been opposed to doing that. I did the same thing with Final Fantasy VII, where I played the very different remake before the original. But I'm like, I'm a huge proprietor of just like, jump into a series whenever you want. Because people are always like, what's the best watch order for wah? And I'm like, whatever one looks cool. Whatever one gets you into the series. You know? Because people might be like, hey, you should watch the original before watching the remake. And I'm like, well, the original didn't super, I haven't seen the original until now. And now I'm interested in seeing the remake, and if I watch the remake and I really like it, then I'll go back and watch the original. You know? I just like that. I mostly say that for the Index series, because they're like, oh, should I watch certain Magical Index or certain Scientifical Railgun first? Whatever interests you. There is a proper watch order. It's always release order. But whatever you think is just watch whatever you think is interesting, and then go back and watch what you missed after you get into the series. Whatever you need to do to get into the series. That's why I'm also people are also like, I can't believe people start Bleach with 1,000-Year Blood War, and I'm like, why not? I don't know. Just jump in. Maybe if they like it, they'll go back. Again, some people don't care about spoilers. But yeah, that will be the next discussion. I know this on-screen text says 4 weeks, but that was 2 weeks ago, at least. So hopefully it will be before the end of May, which gives you like 2-3 weeks to watch it. It'll be, the soonest it will be is next weekend, or the weekend after that. So 2 or 3 weeks from now. Okay, today is like a Monday, and I'm planning to do it like on a, whatever. You get the idea. It'll be at some point before the end of May. So if you want to get in on the next discussion, then go watch that series. I think it's on Netflix. I tend to not say stuff like that because, like, you know, things change and move around all the effing goddamn time. So I could say, like, oh, it's on Netflix, and then next week it'd be taken off of Netflix and it'll be put on Skibbity Flap Floop. The Skibbity Toilet streaming service. I got nothing. Anyway, I'm looking forward to Ranma, because this show didn't really give me talking about gender that I was looking for, but this show, that's his whole main gimmick, is that it is a rom-com where the main character switches gender. And I'm like, that's definitely prime me. So yeah, we'll discuss that at some point, preferably before Pride Month. Even though you could argue that this could be a Pride Month anime, but whatever. I have like a bunch of other anime that I want to do for Pride Month. So yeah, we'll be discussing Ranma sometime before the end of May. So then we can go into June doing Pride Month anime discussions. It should be on Pride. It could be. It can be honorarily in Pride. How about that? It can. You know what? You know what might actually end up happening? I might do it like June 1st. Well, no, I'm planning a different stream on June 1st. It'll be. It might be on May 3rd. If I do it on May 31st, that's like Pride Month Eve, right? But yeah, Rama could be on Pride Month. Most anime that I talk about could be on Pride Month, but I do have specific ideas for what anime I'm going to talk about in Pride Month, and I have very specific reasonings for them. And I already have to cut some stuff out, so Rama is here because yeah. Does the second season happening anytime soon? Because we know that there's going to be a second season of Ranma 1/2. Sorry, auto recommendation, Big Titty Anime Girl series? Sorry, how's this related to Ranma 1/2? Yowa Sensei. When the new term starts, second year student discovers that his homeroom teacher is none other than Ranma, infamously known as the Scary Sensei, a woman rumored to curse anyone who crosses her. But one day, Apikura accidentally witnesses a completely unexpected side of his fearsome teacher after school. The striking contrast of her fearsome image and her hidden personality is utterly irresistible. Brace yourself for Gap Moe overload in this tender romantic comedy that's sure to ignite your protective instincts. That doesn't sound like Ranma 1/2 at all. Your auto recommendation is bad. But yeah, if anyone has a recommendation of, by the way, hi Tevin, how's it going? You're here near the end of the stream. But I was just saying, like, Akuyaku Reijou Tensei Ojisan, solid, like, light 7 out of 10. I would say anime. I liked it. It has a lot of cool, interesting things, but it kind of, like, lost steam in the second half. And the next is going to be Ranma 1/2 2024. I will watch the dub, because I feel like watching an anime dub, because I've not seen an anime dub in a while. And I don't think Ranma 1/2 has any, like, super duper famous voice actors that I care about. Yeah, I don't recognize anyone here. So yeah, I just probably watch the dub just for funsies. Michael Tanum is the dad. I was thinking about the Japanese side of things, but yeah, but yeah, that will be the next anime discussion. So if you want to watch that, you got about 2 weeks. Don't listen to this. Pretend this is 2 weeks ago, and that's when it says 4 weeks. I recognize most of them by voice, them by name, to be honest. That too. I cannot do names and I cannot do faces, but I can recognize voices. I think it's an autism thing. Anyway. That's usually why I'm like, when I see English voice actors, I have to like look at what other characters they played. This dude played Inuyasha? This is all. It was written by the Ranma 1/2 is written by the same person who did Inuyasha, so I guess that makes sense. They also did the original Ranma 1/2. English. I was expecting the Japanese voice actors to have the same voice actors from the like 90s version, 80s version, but not the English voice actors. That's interesting. So there you go. I'm officially impressed, Texas. I'm officially impressed, Texas. I was gonna go advertise the anime dormitory. Actually, I can't. I still can. I still can. I still can. Meow, meow, meow. Give me a second. Shosho amachi kudasai. More series made by Rumiko Takahashi tend to reuse voice actors like Rama. People ended up in Inuyasha. In Japanese too. Because that's funny. Big. Also needs to be like near the bottom. Where's chat? Where's chat? I don't know why chat box is so low. We don't need a screenshot. In both and English. Is that what you wanted to remove? Is that the message? Oh. Look at Devin's shame! Anyway, if you actually want to support anime and you don't want to throw away your money to executives and CEOs who don't actually have anything to do with the anime production, and especially if you don't want to give your anime money to like a streaming service where all the money is just gonna go to some effing J.O. in Texas to get a corner office. If you actually want to have your money go straight to helping this poor, starving, dying animators in Japan, the Animator Dormitory Project 2025, they've been doing this for a couple of years. They've been doing this for a couple of years, and like, it's not a scam. You can see videos on their YouTube channel where they document a lot of things about you know, being an animator, and a lot of like behind the scenes of what they do and what they spend the money on, which is just the dorm, keeping up the dorms. You can also see in the things where like, here's where the breakdown of like where they need the money. Yeah, housing supply, current dormitory housing support, current dormitory maintenance costs, establishing new dormitories, stuff like that. History, they have some alumni listed somewhere. They have various people. So if you actually want to support, I will, okay? Give me a second. If you actually want to support actual animators in Japan without having to give your money to CEOs that don't even know anything about anime and are not involved in the process at all. If you want to give your money directly to the animators to help support their lifestyle and make more cool anime, and Animator Dormitory Project, it'll be linked in the description and the comments and the everywhere. It's good. I can vouch for it. And if it turns out to be a scam, I will be very, 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 very surprised. Because again, like, they have alumni listed, and they have a bunch of like behind the scenes. Like, I guess the only thing you could say they waste money on is making these videos. But like, yeah, it goes back like a couple of years. I think they say, I don't know, maybe since 2020. Yeah, I think since 2020. No, wait, hold on. 2014. Not even older. It's been going on for 10, 11 years. And yeah, you can see a picture of the little things. I'm trying to see where they have. Oh yeah, here's some alumni of past residents, because I guess they don't want to dox like who's currently living there, but they're like, yeah, you know, people who worked on Attack on Titan and Jujutsu Kaisen, both cool anime that has famously underpaid and overworked. Chainsaw Man, Urusei Yatsura. So yeah, go support this. They need 3,000 US dollars by the end of the year in order to fully fund for their 2025. Anyway. Now that we're off ski, fuck Crunchyroll. now that we're no longer in the clip, motherfucking Crunchyroll and their goddamn Crunchyroll awards. That's when I quit. That's when I stopped my Crunchyroll subscription. The effing year they flew out that my Crunchyroll money paid for Mother's Basement to get flown out to effing California or whatever the fudge Crunchyroll is to host the anime awards. No. And then effing Crunchyroll is like, hey, look at our new offices. And they show off the CEO office. And he's got like this big giant ass, like he's got a fucking waterfall of gold flowing through his office. Like, it's bullshit. Anyway, what were you talking about, Tevin? Hey, remember when I said this was going to be a short stream? And it is not a short stream. Like, English Rama was voiced by Richard, who later went on to voice Inuyasha. I think it's because most of her work is voiced in Viz Media. Oh, you mean they live in Texas or California? And the English anime studio only has, like, a set of, like, 5 people that they work with. Same type of characters share voices. I vaguely remember when Rene came, people had to stop Rumiko Takahashi from using the same VAs because she's been doing this for years. Is it? I guess we can check. I want to know, is it English or Japanese too? Like, let's see the Japanese voice actress for Ranma. Oh, she's Evangelion. She is Evangelion. No, I don't think it's a thing. She's also Jessie. Okay, I lied earlier when I said that Ranma doesn't have any things. No, it seems like it's just in English. I don't see any crossover. Oh no, nope. Never mind. The main guy of Ranma, Yamaguchi Kappei-san, voices Boy Ranma and Inuyasha. So that is a thing in both English and Japanese. So anyway, I gotta go to bed because I said this would be a short stream, and now we're at 3 hours, which is, I guess, a short stream by some standards, since my standard quote-unquote stream is 4 hours. But no, I would like my standard stream to be 3 to 3.5 hours, my shorter streams to be 2 hours, and my longer streams to be 4 hours, but that's just not how things work now, huh? Anyway, work sucks. I might end up in a home eventually. So I cannot guarantee streams in the future. But the current plan is to do Mario Kart and start up a new secret game this weekend. So that'll be at some point this weekend, maybe, possibly. And if you want to play Mario Kart with us, and you don't want to pay fucking $500 that you can't even effing pay, here's Wheel Wizard. We'll be playing on Dolphin. I think you can play people on Dolphin on console, but I just know that like if you have Dolphin and a Mario Kart Wii ISO, and if you need help with that, let me know. Damn Twitter. If you have Dolphin and a Mario Kart Wii ISO, then it's super duper simple to just download Wheel Wizard and then hit install and then hit play, and then you can play online on Retro Rewind. And Retro Rewind is a Mario Kart Wii mod that includes every single retro course, all the way from Super Mario Kart to Mario Kart 2/8. And they also have like some arcade tracks in there too. It's cool. What is Rene? Rene? Kyokai no Rinne? Is that what you're talking about? That might be cool. I'm not as huge of a fan as Rumiko Takahashi as you are. But hey, maybe after... Yes, Kyokai no Rinne, okay. Maybe after watching Ranma 1/2, I will have a different take on that. Because again, I don't know how I, grew up watching Inuyasha, and Ranma 1/2 is literally like Solaris core, so I don't know why I have not watched it up until now. But hey, I'm watching it now. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Also might need to go poo-poo. I need to make a poo-poos. Might, okay? We don't know. We don't know yet. We don't have enough information at this current time to make a definitive decision on that one. But we're ending the stream right now. Thank you all for joining the stream. I hope you liked the stream. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Technically, if you really wanted to support the stream, you would like the stream and subscribe. But only subscribe if you... This is serious. Let's take off my nerd glasses. Only subscribe and follow if you... And share this with people who you think would enjoy it. I don't want numbers. I want a community, okay? So yeah, that's all I had to say. Thank you all for watching. Anime's cool. Be nice to each other, and including yourself. And I hope you have a good time. And art is cool. And I forget the rest of my ending, but that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, stay fresh, cheese bags. And also tell me if you like the audio, the background music being off, or if you want it back on, or if you don't care. Okay, I'm actually leaving now. Goodbye. Sorry, I had to come back. What did you say? Later, breeders? Okay, whatever you say, man. It's making a lot of assumptions. But I agree. See you later, sex havers. Again, making a lot of assumptions. I'm leaving now. Actually leaving now. Goodbye. Mwah.